I'm George Walker, author of the Design Matters column in Popular Woodworking magazine. Today I'd like to explore how to draw a Cyma curve, a timeless form that can unlock your inner eye. For centuries, apprentices learned basic compass skills to gain practical and artistic skill at the workbench. These simple layouts are just as relevant today as ever. Once you become familiar with the formal compass layouts, you find yourself able to experiment. This compass becomes a tool to spark your intuition. Let's start by drawing a cyma, a pair of flowing curves. These seamless lines are found in ocean waves and in the human form. Variations of the cyma curve are found in contemporary as well as traditional designs. A cyma curve is always two curves that flow above and below a straight reference line. And I'm going to start with drawing the simplest cyma curve by just setting my compass on a pivot point. Now I come over below it and I draw in the curve that flows into it. This is the simplest of a cyma curve in that I just took my straight reference line and I cut it exactly in half, and I created a cyma curve that's symmetrical. If you'd like to put some variation into a cyma curve and make it a little bit more organic, you can divide it into a major and a minor. So in this next cyma curve I'm going to draw, basically I just took my reference line and I divided it into 5 equal spaces with a set of dividers, just stepped it off. And in this case I'm going to draw a cyma curve that's 3 parts for the major and 2 parts for the minor. So we're going to place our compass on the center point. And draw in our major. Now reset our compass. For this smaller cyma. Now we've got a major curve and a minor curve, and there's actually a couple of things going on here. This major curve, since the radius is longer, it's slower, it's a more gradual curve, and the minor curve is what's called a faster curve. It's a sharper curve, so it adds a little bit more life to a composition. And you can play around with all kinds of different combinations of these to create cyma curves that sort of have a different character. Now, we were just talking about speed there, about a faster curve and a slower curve. Here's a pair of cyma curves. One's slower and one's faster. You can see this one here is more aggressive. And that's because these were put together with curves that are geometrically slower and faster. This top one is based on curves that are 1/6 of a circle. And to do that geometrically, you just set your compass to the pivot point to one end and to the other of where your curve is going to beginning and end. Come down and scribe in a reference line. Come over to the other side. Come down and draw a reference line. That becomes your pivot point, and you can come up and scribe your arc for your 1/6 of a circle. This one down here uses arcs that are 1/4 of a circle. It's a more aggressive, a faster curve. To create a geometric 1/4 of a circle to draw one of these, you still have your straight reference line. You divide it in half. You set your compass pivot point at the midpoint, come back out to your end, and you draw a semicircle. Then down here at the South Pole, that's your new pivot point for drawing your quarter circle. You bring your pencil back out, and this will draw that quarter circle. It's a more aggressive curve. Now that brings up the question, can I combine 1/6 of a curve and 1/4 of a curve in a Cyma and have the thing flow right? So let's see what happens when we do that. So on this Cyma curve, I'm going to start with 1/6 of a curve. And then I'm going to put a quarter section of a curve on the other side. And we'll see if it works. Actually, if you look closely at this, you'll see that it doesn't flow seamlessly. There's a little hump there, a little bump. And you'll also notice, if you look at a lot of traditional furniture where they're mixing together slow and fast curves, and you would end up with these curves not lining up, many times they would put a small fillet or a flat or a bead in there to separate those two curves. And what it does is it disguises your eye from seeing that those fast curves and slow curves don't line up. You can go ahead and play around with all different combinations of these, major, minor, fast, and slow, and help your own intuition to be able to draw Cyma curves. I hope this is helpful.